Faith Church, hope you are well today. Many years ago, when I was in seminary studying to be a pastor, part of the process to be ultimately ordained, confirmed, to be cleared to go and serve a church was at the end of my schooling, I had to go before what's called a presbytery. It's like a local gathering of a lot of different pastors and elders. This was in San Francisco. And I had to go, part of the process was going before this group of about 200 people, again, many pastors, other elders, leaders in the church, and standing before them to be examined. And what that meant is that these people could ask me any question they wanted to. Questions about my life, about my character, questions about my theology, my experience, anything. And I knew this was kind of the one of the end goals of this whole process of 3 years of seminary and exams and all this. And for 3 years, I dreaded that moment that I knew was eventually going to come. The thought of standing there just caused a lot of anxiety and fear in me that I had to live with all that time. And I remember as it got closer and closer, I almost couldn't get it out of my mind. Most people go through that experience and it may be rough, but they end up being confirmed and ordained. Once in a while, someone gets rejected, but it's pretty rare. But nonetheless, I was a lot of anxiety over the years about that. Ended up getting through it. It's another story. I went through and was confirmed, obviously, and became a pastor. But I think back on experiences like that and others I've had, where some future date, some future event, some future possibility causes some level of fear and anxiety. I'm sure that all of you can relate. If I asked you today, what is some possibility, because we don't know the future, we can imagine, but what's some possibility, maybe really a strong potential of something that might happen that is causing you some level of fear or anxiety in your life about the future? Might be something this week, that some confrontation that you have with somebody, or some meeting, or some test result that's going to come back, either in school or in terms of health, might be bigger than that. Might be the situation in our nation or politically or the world, something that keeps you up at night, causes you fear. I want to think about some of this Sunday when we gather. I think it's a place where we all probably struggle, and actually want to talk not just about the future, but about the past and how the past impacts us in terms of things like regret over things we wish to have gone differently, or even things like nostalgia, where we wish things would go differently today. We should go back to a day when we thought things were better. Ultimately, having us think together about how do we learn to live as followers of Jesus in the present moment, not stuck in the past for better or for worse, or not worried or concerned about the future. How do we learn to live in the present moment? There's a really popular way of thinking about this called mindfulness, and that can go all different kind of directions, some not so helpful, but it can be helpful if Christ is the focus of our mindfulness. And how is it even possible for us to live each day, even each moment, with a mindful presence that Christ is with us, that sets us free from being either stuck in the past or afraid of the future? So it's going to be our focus Sunday, something I've wrestled with all the way even before that experience I shared with you about my examination, and since that experience. We're going to use Matthew chapter 6, verses 25 to 34, Jesus' really famous teaching about worry and anxiety. And he says some profound things there that I think are going to be very helpful for us. So I would encourage you to read through that before you come. And looking forward to being back together this Sunday after the fall retreat. Always feels like the beginning of the season of fall. And so maybe perhaps you've gotten the summer because of travel or other things, distraction, out of the rhythm of being with us Sunday morning in person. Really want to encourage you to be back with us and come and join us. It'll be good to be together. Wherever you are today, in this present moment, not the future or the past, but this present moment. I do pray you sense the presence of Christ and his grace, the love of God as your Father, and really the Holy Spirit present and alive with you and within you. Peace.